there's something even more sinister that she's not talking about, which is this: is the handicapping of black men and black women. Because once you have the black woman who is highly educated, looking down on the skilled trade black man, she doesn't want him. He's not glamorous.
Yeah.
And so
I need someone on my level.
I need someone on my level.
Yeah.
Right. So
which we have a clip of Ebony K. Williams
right.
talking to her.
Please.
Yeah.
So let me just finish this point.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was talking to my wife about this. I said, listen, we have so many complaints about quote unquote black love, black unity, all this stuff like that. But when you have a group of people who are saying, I'm so educated and you are just a mechanic, you are just a plumber, you're just a carpenter, you're not on my level. So you and I could never meet because we can't join forces because you don't have the titles and or above me.
Yeah.
Then you're complaining that there's not enough qualified black men, but you don't even like these kind of black men. Right. Kevin Samuels talked about this when he said you would divorce your man and hire the government as yours.
Yeah.
Right. So this connection, like I said, is not just cut and dry. And the reason I'm talking to her about this, I said, how many black women we know that are single but wouldn't choose a plumber or carpenter because they're beneath him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so there's a bigger monster at play here, which is this: people like her will handicap the next generation by that talking point.
Right. And like something that Mike Rowe pointed out that was very poignant was that like a lot of these jobs that these people are getting in debt to get, AI is replacing all of this.
That's another big point.
Ebony K. Williams, that we're about to show this clip where she went viral for talking about she wouldn't date a bus driver. She's a lawyer. People are finding out that a lot of these lawyer jobs, unless you're like top, it's about to be over. Because AI,
she's a single mother now too.
AI can handle all the legal stuff for you.
Yeah, paralegals.
Yes.
I heard transit driver. Transit? Is it transit? The bus driver?
I think so.
They make pretty good money.
They do make good money.
They make really good money.
So you're saying like to be in the court, which is what I think most people think lawyers are.
Yeah.
You know, like they go into the courts.
Right. And they argue cases.
Yeah. Like
not a lot of them are that.
Very few.
Yeah. A lot of them are analysts. A lot of them
paperwork
are doing research.
Yeah.
Like, but now these are things that AI can handle.
My friend just
better.
lost her job.
Yeah.
She's a paralegal. They got rid of her.
AI can do all of that.
Yeah.
And do it perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No mistakes. Yeah. So let's play this clip. Mom, if you pull it up for me, please. This went viral a while ago.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus. Would you?
Yeah, but
by the way, Yala Van Zandt got kicked off the own network for doing this kind of stuff.
Right, because she told black women they were out of order.
Right. She addressed her. She said she was out of order.
Yes.
But she didn't recognize that she saw it in her son. You know what I'm saying? And so so we were having this conversation. I'm telling you, this is the problem. The problem is there is work.
Yeah.
There is work.
I hear a lot of people, especially in the trades, talking about they need
There's
workers.
work. And I'm not saying that you have to be a plumber, but there's facilitation, there's replenishment, there's office work. There's a lot of work. But you don't want that job.
Yeah.
Also, I would say, she was talking about hotels, hospitality. Basically, like the lowest job in there is housekeeping, right?
Right.
But how many people need a job?
Yes.
Like, just need a job. Just need to get a job.
If you are relying on the government to feed you,
right.
If you are in a position where you losing these benefits on November 1st is the detriment to your entire family, you need to be doing something.
Right. And to just that's where the humbling comes in. Like humble yourself to say, I need something. I got to do something, and and do it.
And the other part of it is that if you are actually good at if you're good at it, it wouldn't take long for management to see and move you up to a better position. Because a lot of times people are just, I'm telling you, people are just waiting for you to say, give me the opportunity. In church, Corey, my boss, I went to him, I said, hey man, listen, I really want to learn electrical. He said, when can you start?
That's how much they need people.
That's how much and I said, listen, I know the basics. I'm not gonna lie. He said, listen, you have a truck, show up on time, don't call out. I've been with him for a year now. I'm getting it for free. I was gonna pay like what Nana did and go And I thought about that. I was like, I have 2 kids, I have a wife. I would take a severe pay cut and I would have to dedicate myself. And he's like, why do all that? He's like, I'll teach you everything you need to know. And you're going to get paid. So humble yourself. That's what I'm saying. It's like we're at this point where we do not want to humble ourselves. We have this thing where we feel like we could run to the internet and cry. And there's lots of work. Manufacturing and the trades are wide open because no one wants to do it.
Yeah.
So I feel for people. This is not to castigate or anything like that. It's just to show people like, listen, what you're crying about is an easy solution. You just don't want the solution. You know what I mean? Like where Peter Lumber, they're like, hey, you guys know anybody that willing to do office hours? They need people, but that's beneath you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so we were down in South Carolina a couple months back, and it's mostly Southerners, so it's pretty much like older middle-aged women, so white women, black women, and they were doing a great job. And at the end of it, after the couple of days, the one lady that was so polite and so sweet, I went up to her and I gave her $100, and she was so thankful of that.
Yeah.
And she said, thank you. She's like, I was like, no, this is for you. And I said, you know why? She said, why? She said, I said, every morning you said, good morning, sir. How are you doing? How's your day? And I think what people misunderstand is that this lady was so touched by that. But I realized this. I wanted to reward her for that.
Right.
And I think a lot of people miss this. These small jobs may not bring a lot of cash, but they're necessary. But once you have interaction with people, and I told that lady, I said, listen, I said, thank you so much for, because she would talk to the kids. She would see them, hello, good morning, things like that. It's like when people like Ebony K. Williams talk like this, it makes it look like these people who do this are stepping stones.
Yeah.
That's all they're there for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because she's clearly making a distinction between you don't want that for your kids. You see what I'm saying? But where were we 60 years ago?
Yeah.
Where was the black population 60 years? We would have been in the porter positions. We would have been in the servitude position. So to now turn around and say that, to me, is just disheartening. And I feel like this is an opportunity to teach humility. Where, like I said, with the Indians, I've noticed this. Their kids were working on the weekend.
Yeah.
We went to pick up Chinese food not too long ago. There's a little kid. He couldn't have been older than 9 years old.
Yeah.
He's ringing up stuff.
Dude, the guy you were just bringing up that is on the zoning board in Voorhees. Like, his father came from India, was working for a guy at a gas station in New York, and was like, I don't like working for this guy.
And
He
probably learned everything.
Him and his brother put their money together, bought a small piece of crap gas station in South Jersey, and he was working there as a little kid.
Yeah.
Then that became 2 gas stations, then 3 gas stations, and then he became in charge of the business. Then they sold for multi-million dollars. You know what I mean? And now he's running a whole bunch of Indian stuff, and he's sitting on the zoning board helping them make sure they get their proper zoning for
As
their
it should
houses.
be.
That they're getting, but it came from the humble beginning
Right.
of, I'm not afraid to pump gas.
And a clear vision of, all right, this is where you're going.
Yeah.
It's not about pumping gas. It's
Yeah.
about understanding what it takes to serve. You got to get in that position of servitude. And then from there, listen, my father was here. I can't thank him enough for waking me up. I didn't want to do no carpentry on the weekends.
Yeah.
But he made me do it. But I have skills today.
Yeah.
That because of him,
Right.
I can provide for my family. I can call up anybody I know and be like, hey, you need me for a day? Yeah, how much you want? $350. Okay.
Yep.
And that's basic. Guys are like, hey, can you come down to the shore? $500. But they know I have the truck. They know they can literally say, can you go here and hang this for me?
Yeah.
Because
I
I
know
need it
you
done.
you could do it. Yeah.
I remember having to take a bus to Atlantic City, making $5 an hour, but I knew that from there I can make more money, and that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Even I got a job for Jake and Jamie there.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
you never
I-
took SNAP benefits.
Never.
Right.
And God worked it out. Little by
Yeah.
little, I got this job, then a better job, then a better one.
Yeah, I'm just for me, I'm disheartened because I feel like because of this kind of language, we have left a certain sector and we basically say it's beneath us.
Right.
And there's so much opportunity that could come out of this. Not just the trade, but I'm just saying in servitude,
Yeah.
and understanding how that works. What's the number one complaint with minority-based restaurant? It don't matter. They ain't got it.
Yeah.
It ain't ready.
Or
We
the
don't have
service
it.
is bad.
Because we're not trained.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like all of this stuff, I say, if we got better at servitude,
Well, think about this. People want to have the thing, and they want to be the king. They want to be the owner.
yeah.
But they don't. want
I
to
was
first
just thinking
serve.
of Kirk Franklin's podcast. And they call everybody kings on it.
gosh.
Everybody wants to be kings and queens,
But
but don't want to do what it takes.
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to push people. Like, it's funny with parents. A lot of times, I think what lacks is communication. Where like parents will do all this stuff, especially parents that are like taking a lot of these jobs. Like, I don't think they know how to communicate, and you can get so caught up in, I don't want you to live like me.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be
That's
like
a big
me.
one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. I don't want you to have the life I had.
Right. I don't want you to have the life I had. But then they go too far with it, right? And they focus so much on it that they don't realize, like, but there's value in you too. There's value in what you're doing
and what you've done and what you
And that has shaped you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, but then you can't have that mentality. Well, you need to go to college because I don't want this for you. Like,
Right.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
You're setting them up for actual failure, though, because you know that's what we heard when we were growing up. Like,
Right.
go to college because I want you to have a better life than me. How did that work out?
Right.
But I wanted to play this clip real quick because this goes into the relationship aspect. I saw this the other day, and what you were talking about the disconnect, especially amongst black women and black men at this point, where they feel like they're above black men in a lot of senses, and then black men are beneath them. This dude was giving a breakdown of it on this podcast.
That's, what's his name again? And Dave Wilson, right?
Dave Wilson, yeah.
You submit to your white ass boss every single day, but yet and still you won't submit to your husbands. But then you get on these podcasts, you get on these television shows, you watch these reality shows that are scripted, and you sit up there and you say, I want a man who's a provider. No. Your husband is supposed to be a provider. We out of whack. Iyanla Vanzant told y'all was out of order, and nobody wanted to hear it.
So maybe I feel like with the submission thing, I feel like, because that's like a hot topic on the podcast world with submission, but we keep telling black women to submit to men that don't have their life together. How can you submit to a man who doesn't submit to God? Everybody's not like you.
I understand that.
You are like in the rare percentage.
I get that.
You must know that there are a lot of black men who don't move like you, who are not successful, who don't want to go to school, who don't want to do anything with their life, who don't have any finances, who don't have any ambition, who have nothing to offer but some dick.
Okay.
So how can you keep telling? And let's talk about it, because let's talk about it. Black women are in record numbers going to college. We're opening degrees. We're getting accolades. We're running nonprofits. There's a large portion of black women who are educating themselves and taking their lives to the next level, while the black men are not reaching those goals. They're not meeting us on those levels.
This man is about to cook, and I want to let his message rock. So here's my couple of quick thoughts. There is nobody telling you to submit to losers, so stop it. You're strawmanning arguments. You're making things up. And let me be clear, by losers, I'm saying those with nothing else to offer of value besides eggplant. What's interesting, though, is that 50% of black men over the age of 18 are walking around childless, with many of those men, good men, high character, high integrity men, are ignored because they don't meet a financial requirement that you've made in your head based off of some reality TV show. Meanwhile, the ones not worthy of submission are getting y'all boxes and creating babies with you. Second point, stop utilizing your pursuit of education as a way to disqualify a man. Humble yourself, for your degrees don't make you more qualified for the obligation of being a wife. Third point, he said submit to your husband, not an eggplant third leg general. But before that, you must understand what submission is and fully indoctrinate it, because even during the dating and the courting phase, we can tell who is really about that life. Your selective submission is not femininity, it is opportunistic. You can complain about the men all day, and I'm not the one here to say that it's perfect on the male side of the coin, but you must be accountable enough and humble yourself to look in the mirror and see, how can my product on the dating marketplace be improved? Let's let them cook.
Black women are the largest group of entrepreneurs. They also have more degrees. There are more black women in the C-suite. And to quote Dr. Umar Johnson, you don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
A lot of student loan debt.
You don't find that suspicious?
Go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Black women also have the majority and the highest rate of student loan debt, which means your debt-to-income ratio is shot. Problem number one. Problem number two is you spend all that time getting these things on you and not getting any learning in you. Having more degrees than a thermometer does not mean that you understand the temperature of our people. On top of that, I don't need a degree to tell you I'm a man. Most of my degrees are sitting in the drawer, and the rest of them are at my mama's house in Arizona. I ain't seen them. It don't matter. Everything I learned in college was about happening outside of the classroom.
But you went to college,
Hold on.
You went to college,
I went to college to please my mother. I had a record deal. I was singing backgrounds for Teddy Pendergrass. Let's tell the whole story, not just the part you like.
Why is college the qualifier?
And
But you still went to college.
Again, most of us, black men specifically, go to college out of pressure from their mamas and their grandmamas, not because it's something to do to better themselves. The school industrial complex is made for black women. There have been several studies on this that talk about how young black boys are automatically labeled as behavior problems. They were labeled as educable, mentally retarded back when Les Brown was in school, and that's going all the way back to the 50s. Then you sit there and you put them in the programs, then you double down on their reading score so that you know how many prisons to build. Everything is set up to make sure you rise and think that you are now above us, as opposed to realizing that there's a conspiracy to separate you from me.
So how do we fix it is what I'm trying to get at.
I had to, first of all, you sat up there and gave me a 30-minute dissertation on how great black women were doing, but the second
I support my black women, that's all.
I support black women.
I support black men
Here's
too,
the thing.
Look.
The majority of my clients, the majority of my executive staff, my man Ricardo Corju, who's been a client of mine for 5 years, he will tell you the majority of the people in my executive team are black women. I have put more black women in the 1% than Nick Cannon with a bag of Viagra. So this is not about supporting black women. There's a woman named Anissa Getna who had a nursing business and she had a credit business, and She went and bought her husband. By the time I was done with it, she went and bought her husband a car dealership, then moved to South Africa. She got an AT&T grant. So when it comes to supporting black women, I don't talk about it, I be about it. So that's not the issue. The issue is we need to fix it by divorcing ourselves from their agenda, which is educate our women, make them feel so high up because they got the C-suite positions, they got the degrees, they got the jobs that they put them in, while they disqualify us, underqualify us, tell us we can't do anything, take all of the skilled labor out, and then when they don't take the skilled labor out, they sit there and then make it look like there's something wrong with that. Even look at the movies. There's been Tyler Perry movies where the dude is a mechanic. The least watched Tyler Perry movie is what? Daddy's Little Girls, because God forbid you see a responsible single father and a baby mama who decided that a drug dealer, a YN, is better than a dude that works hard every day, because that's not sexy enough to brag for your friends. You have to understand that this is a psychological op that is played on so many levels that nobody wants to talk about it. So the solution is we go independent, we reject our trash, we stop taking in every piece of bad bitch bullshit that we get. We start looking at the fact that we don't have one black-owned record company, but we got all these black record labels run by palm-colored people with little hats on the back of their heads telling us how we should operate, and then they sit down with Charlamagne and say, oh, well, I just got to eat. Leroy Cohen, you've eaten, bro. You created a 360 deal.
Quick emergency meeting.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the gist of it. He was talking about how, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mixture in there. But the point of it was where he was showing how, like, black women being educated has put them in a position to feel like that they are above the men.
Yes.
The men that could be the entrepreneurs or the plumbers or the bus drivers, the mechanics. Like, so then it makes men feel like, well, I can't go down that route because then the women are out of reach for me. So where do I fit?
Yeah. But again, it's an outward thing.
Yeah.
It's an outward, always learning, never coming to the knowledge of the truth, which is an inward thing.
Right.
Right. And I think they're looking for, what motivates women more than men sometimes is fear. I'm trying to think about this in the right way. There's the emotion of, what do you call fear and emotion, or anxiety?
I think women are kind of like
anxiety is
because they're predisposed to seek out security.
But yeah, so anxiety would probably be the best way to. So because you're anxious, you're going to go and do something, right?
You're going to go.
You're going to be
security
motivated
to end that anxiety. You're going to try to settle in something.
I was talking to Mom about this. Isn't it interesting that emotions have motion?
Motion in it, yeah.
You know, it's about movement, and all emotions come from love in some way, right? It's either a lack of, or it's just an offset of love. And so what does love do? Love fuels faith, right? So we need fuel, but if we're going to the wrong source, we're going to put our faith in something else. We're going to look for certainty in something else because we're afraid.
Right.
And you see that happening a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we need to just men, the one thing, and I like that we're seeing more men step up, is men have to take a look at themselves internally, right? And then challenge women. But they first have to challenge themselves.
Yeah.
Right? You have to receive love in order to give love.
Yeah. And in a weird way, I think not all of it, but I think the manosphere kind of did a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Where it forced a lot of men to realize that your pursuit is just the flesh, but you'll get that with money, but you'll never get respect.
Yeah.
But I wanted to add something to it and tell me what you guys think, right? Specifically this part. I think what kind of trapped a lot of minorities, specifically black people, was this. The beginning of the power couple. And how I looked at this was this. I'm like, where did this come from? This idea that you're not worthy if you're not a boss. This the female point of view. You're not worthy to be with me if you're not way above me. You don't have a title that makes me look good.
Right.
And so I think the value in relationships started to only be recognized if you were with somebody who was so valuable that it lift you up too.
Right.
And so I stopped and I said, where did this come from? Because we had examples of good parenting and couple, the Cosbys, all of the sitcoms were strong couples. But something interesting happened when Obama and Michelle became in the public light and he became president. The era of the power couple to the black women became real. And so now, the president, right? Then you add in Jay-Z and Beyonce. You add in all these other subsidiaries that were like, they're making moves. They own this, they own that, they're bosses. And all of a sudden, you're feeling left out. You're relegated to Tony the plumber. That won't do.
Right.
Right?
Can't brag to my friends about this on Instagram.
No, you can't brag to your friend about a bus driver, about
Right.
a hotel manager. What does he do? You need to make the presence.
You want to impress.
You want to impress. So I went back because this is not about castigating or putting down anybody. This is really looking at why is there such a disconnect with people who think that these things are beneath them?
Yeah.
Why is this so beneath you? Why?
Because society
sets you up to believe that you need to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with him with the Tyler Perry thing, with where the mechanic thing, but I just thought of how they portrayed men in general.
In Tyler Perry movies, yeah.
Not just in Tyler Perry movies, in society.
Yeah,
like,
certainly in white society too. They have their own,
Yeah.
But I rarely hear
Bundy, Married with Children. He looked like a fool.
Right,
Homer
right.
Simpson
That's true.
looked like a fool.
Yeah.
Peter Griffin was made.
But the interesting thing is this: is that specifically when it comes to black people and the trades, I was just talking to Angelo. He's Puerto Rican. Him and I were talking, and he was like, "Man, ain't a lot of brothers in this." And I was like, "Yeah." So he's like, "We don't see a lot of brothers in this." He's real cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the guys that we sub to, and he found out I was from Trinidad, and he's like, you're
That's
a Trini.
why you do this.
You're a Trini.
You're not a real black."
So we started talking, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I guess it's not glamorous, but like I said, the reason I'm saying it like this is because I was saying this to my wife. I was like, there is so much interest in this power couple thing. That you can't build anything. You have to come ready.
Yeah.
You have to bring the house already. You know what I mean? It's like you can't even have a vision.
Yeah.
Is it built?
Right.
And so we're copying celebrities. We're copying political pundits. We're figureheads. And we're trying to emulate that because that's the only way you will get your flowers, per se. You know what I mean? So,
well, again, we talk about idolatry. That's what that is.
That's what
that's
is,
exactly
right?
what that is.
Exactly.
But if you think about idolatry, it's image, right? And it's mirroring that image. And this is something that we do as instinctively as babies, right? We mirror our parents, right? And again, that's connected to love. It's connected to trust. So what's at the root of a lot of things? It's deception to trust in something because you don't have a core trust in your own family life. When you have family that is strong in the love of God, you're not going to just step out. You trust what your parents say because they are in the love of God. So you're not just going to step out and trust seeing a Jay-Z.
It's not going to impress you.
Seeing a Beyonce, Jay-Z, it's not going to impress you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what they say and they're doing this, they're doing that. No, this is my dad.
Yeah.
My dad, I know my dad loves me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
the foundation is
again,
missing.
it's it goes back to our family. Something I heard, dude, that was really cool about like why you receive wealth, right? Talk about value, worth. Well, it's all comes from faith. What is the most valuable thing? It's trust. Think about it, because if you don't have trust, nobody will give you anything. Give you a look, give you understanding. I mean, they won't give you their money. They're not going to give you their time. They're not going to give
That's
you.
what they used to call banks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you their attention.
Yeah.
Right? But there's this story of Joseph. Not the Joseph from the Old Testament where people look at a lot of time as wealth, but Joseph of Arimathea in the New Testament, right? And this Joseph, here's what's interesting. He provided for Jesus at his most vulnerable. And that's powerful to me. At his body's most vulnerable, his wealth provided he provided a tomb for his body, right? And I think this is what we should be looking at. God wants us. He says, if you do this to, he says, if you do this to them, it's like you've done it to me, right? If you give it to them, it's like you've done it to me.
The least of them.
The least of these.
Yeah.
It's when we're at the most vulnerable. Are we gonna pick people apart? Or are we gonna come to them and say, hey man, I've been there, or I get where you're coming from. I get what you're dealing with right now. You know, people who don't have fathers, people who are literally the image of everything wrong in the world, but can you talk to them and can you I get it, man, but there's another way.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna just be, or are we gonna say no? There's still hope there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And how many men are so vulnerable, but they're covering it all up with facades in this, especially black men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, especially like how many men, not just black men, but I'm just saying that because we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, the bravado.
How many? Yeah, the bravado of it. How many of us are trying to cover up by looking a certain way, seeming a certain way, right?
Yeah.
But really, we're struggling.
Yeah.
Inside, we're dealing with a lot.
It's going to take men like other men who are on the right path to see them. Because I'll do it. I'll stop and I'll talk to, if I see men, not just black men, but if I see young men, you know, in my travels in Home Depot or Lowe's, and especially if they ask me a question, you know, if they see me and hey man, what do I do with this? And I'll be like, what do you do? I'll start talking to them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll ask them questions and, you know, just to give them a little insight. Man, you ever thought about the trades? I just met this young man. He works at Wawa up here, and he's real nice. He's very polite. And I asked him, I said, have you ever thought about something a little bit more than this? And he said, like what? I said, you know, the trades. And he's like, no, not really. I was like, would you be interested? And he said, yeah. So I gave him my number. I said, I'm gonna put it on you.
Yeah.
You call me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna call you. You call me.
Right.
So it's been a couple of days. I haven't heard from him, but I think it's part of that is slowing down and interacting with people.
Yeah. And being willing to be that mentor and reach out. Yeah.
And help. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This was one kid that he works with my other company, and for a while I wasn't too favorable of him.
Mm-hmm.
But his life path changed. Him and his father got into a physical altercation, unwarranted, and he opened up to me. And you know, and I pulled him aside when I said, listen, I said, man, dude, you're on your phone a lot, man.
Yeah.
I said, you got to get off your phone. We got to get this done. And he tried to give me a little attitude, and I said, you're upset right now, so you're trying to get back at me.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so I know what that is. Anyway, fast forward, we hadn't worked together for a while, and I found out what was happening with his father. He's from Camden, and I said, listen, you need to get out of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
But I started to give him a little side work because I'm doing side work, and I started to give him. And I came back. Now, he there's some laziness in him, but I gave him a job to do, and I came back and it was done. And I said to him, I said, this is what I need from you. I said, this is it. I said, if you could do this, I said, I could trust you and I can give you things on your own. I could just say, hey, go there. Here's some tools. Go do this. So he actually came along and he helped me on my sister's project.
Wow, that's cool.
You know what I mean? And I've been talking to him. I've been actually, part of it too is there's another guy that got hired that was really hard on him. And he saw that I wasn't as hard on him. And I said, it took all of that for you to see.
Yeah.
Because that guy cursed at him.
Right.
And called him that guy's really rough.
Yeah.
And I was like, you see, it took all of that for you to recognize kindness.
Yeah.
But that right there is that's that thing that it's about trust, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do I trust this guy? It takes time.
It does take time.
Especially when you grew up in trauma, like clearly.
He
you
did.
Know what I mean?
He did. And he came to me, he talked to me, and he said, oh man, thanks so much. I was like, listen, all I'm asking you to do is I want the best from you. I was like, at the end of this job, what do you expect from me? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, when we're done this, what are you looking forward from me? He's like, money. I was like, okay. At the start of this, I'm looking for labor and consistency. That's what I'm looking for.
That's the trade-off, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was like, at the end of this, I said, man, I don't have, I had like $40
right now.
man.
Yeah.
I was like, how would you feel if I promised you $150, $200, and I said, I got 40, but I get you next time I heat. What would you feel? Would you feel like I shortchanged you? He was like, yeah. He's like, hell yeah, I would, man. And I was like, so why would you not give me your best if you want my best? You know what I mean?
What's crazy though is like, even that, like, it's not, he's like, what do you want at the end of this? It's really, it shouldn't even be money, because really it's relationship.
That's too deep for him.
Yeah, that's too deep.
No, I know. I'm going deeper because like, really, like, the money flows in relationship. Like, because when you can trust, if he can trust you, and then you could trust him,
right?
That's a relationship.
Right.
They grow, and like, now that money will flow. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what we all are looking for, but we just complicate
the reward.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing that he doesn't understand is if he doesn't work in that way, like he'll still get his end of the bargain, but it'll be done.
That'll be it.
That'll be it.
And if that's all you're looking for, that's all you're gonna get.
Right. Because So recently I told him, I said, bro, here's the thing. I was like I said, he's from Camden, so he has the tattoos, he has the long hair, and I said, listen, I said, I know you're young, because he's 25. I said, I know you're young. I said, but one of the things that we do, because he's like, man, you're really good at talking to customers, man. I was like, part of this job is selling yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying lie to people. I'm saying it's you. They're trusting you in their home. Like when they tell you, hey, here's a key, here's the code, they're trusting you.
Yeah.
If I sell them me and I send you, I broke the trust. Right? And I said, and part of that is they may not approve.
Right.
Of, they don't know you. You kind of have a certain look to you. And so we would talk. I was like, I'm not trying to tell you wear a 3-piece suit. I'm just saying you have to understand presentation. And so we're talking. So 2 weeks ago, he came in, his hair was cut. You know,
so he's getting it a little
right,
bit.
he's getting it. And I was like, look at you, man. Really, my boss's dad came to him and said, look, man, in order for you to be presentable here, you have to carry yourself this way.
Yeah.
And so I said, this is what I was telling you.
Yeah.
I was like, so now you've left a customer feeling integral about the work that we're doing. I was like, because when you leave a site like this, I was like, they're going to go check everything now, because you've just ruined the confidence here.
Right.
You know? So I've been trying to work with him. I say all that to say this. I went from not liking this kid because he wasn't respecting me to now realizing that it's my attitude that has to change to
100%
help him.
Right.
Because I told Mac, I was like, I don't want to work with that guy, man.
Yeah.
You know, because I did try, but I was frustrated. But I realized in the time, you know, it's my approach too. It's how I talk to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not trying to father you.
Right.
I'm trying to show you I'm the person in charge of the job, so it's gonna fall on me. So because he would leave, he would just be like, it's 3:00, and he'd just leave everything.
Yeah.
Where are you? I left. Why? Oh man, I was trying to get home by 3:30. I'm like, okay, so you just leave the site like this? And that was kind of his way of saying, well, we'll come back tomorrow. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
We can't leave at people's house like this, man.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So through that, I show him, I said, and then the other thing too was like, when I started to praise him in front of the customers, and I'll be like, Israel had a big part in cleaning up. Israel did a good job. Then he sees that. I think that's what a lot of young men need, is they need another man to show them that, look, there's reward in doing a good job.
Right.
Hey, Israel, thank you so much. Now, you're not always going to get a tip, but a lot of times I was like, you're walking away with, you know what I mean? And if I'm there, I'll be like, oh, I'll give it to Israel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. But if he had the attitude to do the bare minimum and I'm just trying to get my check, all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, just know, if you leave and I clean up and I get money, you're not getting that.
Yeah.
So now, guess who's sticking around? You know what I mean? And I think that's what it is. I think older men, I'm not just saying the trades, in anything, if we could talk to these young men and just show them that, look, man, you're the path you're on is going to lead to way more destruction. Because I was like, you got to get out of this situation. He's finally out of there, him and his father. He's that's another thing too, man. This dude is renting a trailer for $1,000.
Wow.
No credit, 2 evictions.
Wow.
In Camden.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. But
I think if men can deal with being disrespected for the sake of these kids that don't know how to be respectful, you know,
it's gonna have, you have to take it.
Yeah.
You have to want to.
It helps the situation.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you how many times like people have like lashed out at me.
Coaching, right?
Yeah. And I've taken it and then I continue and just deal with them logically. You know what I mean? Like walk them through it, and by the end of it, they're like, yeah. You know, but you got to be able to, you got to care. You got to want to get through to them.
Yeah.
You know, you got to care about them. But if you don't, you're just like, man, I'm not dealing with that.
And it takes a humbling of yourself.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. That was my attitude when he didn't want to listen. You know.